moving on to part 2 of the changing face of education. Mobile learning is an online learning tool used to incorporate cost-efficient, lightweight, portable devices to increase student teamwork, project-based learning, and the use of Web 2.0 tools learned about in Chapter 2. There are 5 benefits of using mobile apps in education. And I found these online by Roy Samuel. He's on my resource page. But these 5 benefits include innovative learning methods, which different educational apps offer a wide range of student-centered platforms supporting healthy thought processes and engaging learning. And this provides teachers and students an innovative way to focus on subject-oriented studies and understand developmental building blocks from different perspectives. It also benefits the enhanced parent-teacher communication, which the developmental process of students continues to be vital focus in parent-teacher communications. The more convenient and reliable a system is, the more successful this relationship remains. And it also increases educational transparency. Another benefit is the improved study habits we see in students. Students have access to almost limitless amount of resources, and this aids them in research, finding study tools. They have better ways of time management, and they even have online tutors nowadays. This keeps them interested, and interactive books online or ebooks and online study material increases the student's focus while studying. By decreasing student-teacher communication gaps, teachers can individually focus on students and their developmental growth while correspondingly keeping track of the class through group messages, announcement, and discussion posts. I'd say that's a benefit. Another benefit is many miscellaneous conveniences, such as removing obstacles such as time, place, and physical limitations. Attendance management and documentation are all online now. Financial arrangements between school and students, or school and parents, or both. And it also helps prevent student anxiety, if you think about it. The assignments are posted along with due dates, avoiding confusion. The direct access to your instructor or teacher provides a healthy and less stressful resource than asking that dumb question in front of your peers. And ultimately, that helps you release so much anxiety from even approaching your teacher or asking those questions. You can just email them. There's a lot of benefits. So how can teachers incorporate digital tools into their classroom curriculum today? Well, let's find out. First things first, we got to choose the right tools. Keep in mind, we need to use tools that spark the interest of students and allow them to use their imagination. We also need to find engaging and innovative tools, like apps, to inspire students to involve themselves in group activities and projects. Consider student level of understanding and knowledge. There are over 50,000 educational-based apps available at your disposal. There are apps called BrainPop, iMovie. TED Talk is a really good one, and Duolingo they use for different languages, such as Spanish and French. They're really good ways for core educational curriculum learning. Mobile learning apps is just the formal term for curriculum-specific apps for mobile devices. That includes iPads, mobile phones, etc. And app-based learning, also called app-enhanced learning, is the utilization of apps in the classroom to promote online teaching and learning. Here on Figure 1, you can see a mere fraction of teacher-reviewed apps in today's core classrooms. And personally, I've seen the use of TED and TED with subtitles or the TEDx talk in classrooms, and it is super, super effective. And honestly, I I hope I'm not throwing myself under the bus doing this, but I actually have dictionary.com and thesaurus.com actually bookmarked on my Google Chrome. So I use this stuff like all the time. I also found a really interesting quote from Google Iyer, and it helped me think outside the box whenever I was thinking, how am I going to choose the right apps for my classroom? And he said it best. The best classroom apps align with students' learning goals, providing personalized features that help them build their skills and competencies based on their current level. Just something to think about. Another great tool to use when implementing mobile learning in the classroom today is to create a teacher's web page. To do this, you'll need to find a web development tool that you're comfortable with, such as TeacherWeb or WebBlender 2, which I'll talk about on the next page. Or there's another good one called Google Sites, and it is a user-friendly system that displays online content to online users, such as your students or parents. Can't forget the parents. And you need to keep in mind on what type of content you're going to want to publish, such as student projects or announcement to parents. You can post events such as after school clubs, what's going on in the school, but make sure it's within the scope of your school's policies. So make sure you brush up on that. In Figure 2, you can see the webpage WebBlender 2, which is a very popular program used by teachers today to create their own online classrooms. I know we're using Google Classroom in this class, but this is another one of those really, really popular ones, like Google Sites, that teachers use. Again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to also read along in your chapter. But on page 311 in your textbook, if you have the 8th edition, on figure 631, I had trouble uploading this picture. However, it goes into finer detail on tips for web pages. But it does say that your font, colors, and flashy effects on your web pages should not make it difficult for readers to find out what it is on your website, or your web page, sorry. And it shouldn't draw attention away from what you're trying to focus on. Also, the navigation within the web page should be easy and effortless. And you also need to take into consideration how the organization of your content is. Does everything flow right? Is everything fine, And is the layout and design consistent? Is the web location easily accessible? Key terms. Are they going to be able to find it when they Google it in the search bar? Graphics should also be saved into a small file size. That way your web page doesn't have to have time to buffer. Is it engaging? Does it draw the attention to viewers in your audience, such as students or parents? And lastly, does it download quickly? So if you already have a blog, there's no need to worry, because as a teacher, you can still keep a blog, and you can even have your students use a blog, especially in English classes. I've actually taken classes that have made me use a blog for daily journals, like in English class. But for those of you who don't know, a blog is an informal website that's in a journal-like format, and it can be subject specific. You can have it set to public or private, and you can use it for educational purposes or more like an entertaining, for fun type deal. But it generally includes the dates, your own ideas and topics of interest, and your signature in web-based form. But you'll need to use platforms such as EDU blogs and TeacherTube to create a blog, because it's not like a website where you can just go in and create one. You have to use a site. But there's many uses to this and many benefits. Students will learn to improve their writing skills as well as communication skills and organization skills. But it also helps promote their healthy thought processes, because it makes them think. What are they going to write about? And the teacher uses, they can post assignments to a blog, and they can generate thoughts, stimulate classroom discussions, make students talk to each other, and they can also connect with parents and guardians through a blog. Here's an example of an engaging, beautifully designed, and well-organized blog created by a teacher for her English class that you can find also in your book on figure 633. Isn't that neat? I love that design. As Ben Parker once said in the movie Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Being able to be online and using a blog is a privilege, and that comes with responsibilities. Now, there's probably going to be at least one or two students that are joking around, or they just don't know proper etiquette of online communication. So to prevent inappropriate entries, it is the teacher's obligation to convey acceptable use policies, which are also called AUPs, to their students, and acquire parental consent. Avoid sites that require full names, email addresses, and personal information, because those are probably not good. They might get their information stolen or sold, so we don't want any of that. And we got to have rules of appropriate behavior. Make sure it's posted somewhere and easily accessible to not only the student, but the parents as well. And we also need to remind the students, sometimes more than just once, that having access to a blog or any online form of communication is a privilege, and it's, it can be taken away. Sometimes you can get kicked off the internet for inappropriate behavior. So let's try to prevent this. What's the most famous wiki you know? If you said Wikipedia, you got that correct. Okay, so what is wiki? Well, it is a simple, easy-to-use, user-maintained database that is awesome for group collaboration and is a group authoring tool that allows students, or anyone really online, to create, add to, modify, or delete content. Terms you need to know about wikis, however, are wiki engine, wiki page, and wiki. Let's break it down. Okay, so the wiki engine is the backbone of wiki. It facilitates the operation of wiki sites. The next down from a wiki engine, which I got these a little bit mixed up, but next down from wiki engine is the wiki. So the entire body of the wiki pages is the wiki, so Wikipedia. And the wiki page would be, if you go to wikipedia.com and you type in the search bar King Henry VIII and you read all about his marriage to Queen Elizabeth and Queen Catherine, Anne Boleyn, That's all on Wiki page. That's a Wiki page. It is a single page in Wikipedia. Hopefully that helps. All right, student uses. Let's say you assign a group project for students to write a paper over King Henry VIII after watching, a movie or reading a book. They have to do a summary or something. Well, you split them up into groups of 3 and you tell them go create a wiki. Well, they can do this, and it will help them improve group productivity and their delegation skills as well as their social skills, because they got to work together, they got to work online, and they got to figure out who's doing what. The teachers can also use this to encourage brainstorming, how to put it all together, and create team building exercises, because you got to know. Figure 4 shows the home screen of Wikipedia, which is also the wiki, before we have actually typed in the search bar any specific page. So this is the absolute wiki of Wikipedia. Another great tool to use when implementing mobile learning into the classroom is podcasts. Well, what is a podcast? It is a recorded audio or video stored in a file on a website. The host of a podcast is called a podcaster, and if a podcast includes a video, it's called a vodcast with a V. A important thing to know is podcast equals content, and podcasting equals downloading or uploading a podcast. And podcasts can be downloaded via mobile or computer using any program capable of reading formats like RSS or Atom software systems. You can also read that in your text. Continuing, the use and benefits of podcasts, and there is way more than just this, but they do provide resources and professional development. They also share information, communicate curriculum, and teachers can record lessons and lectures and have them readily available and downloadable for their students. Here's an example of getting ready to create a podcast. This is when Apple was introducing podcasts. More on podcasts. Podcasts can be created by students for students or by students for their friends. Podcasts can also be created by teachers for their students or student parents. Podcasts can also be created by universities, corporations, education consortiums, and the government for teachers and students to further their education. When implementing mobile learning in the classroom, another great tool to use is multimedia authoring software. This allows you to create electronic presentations, simulations, and software demonstrations. It also allows you to screencast. Screencasting is a digital recording of a computer screen output, often containing audio. A great example of multi-authoring software is Camtasia Studio. Camtasia Studio allows you to screencast anything on your computer and distribute instructional videos to your students. The multimedia authoring software allows you to use digital student-centered and student-created tutorials. It also allows you to send lessons using PowerPoint to convert into video movie formats, such as this video. You can also create how-to videos and digital reviews of software, rubrics, class rules, policies. Here you can see the home screen of Camtasia Studio before it is downloaded, and you can find all the features available for Camtasia Studio before you actually go in and start experimenting. Camtasia Studio does much more than just screencast. It also allows you to record, edit, and share high-quality instructional videos and student-created video-based projects, as well as providing powerful features. You can record the screen and record PowerPoint and create podcast and podcast. Record the screen allows you to record a screencast including music or narration, audio, and you can even record yourself in the video with a webcam. Recording your PowerPoint off of Microsoft PowerPoint allows you to create a narrated PowerPoint into a movie with audio. Podcast or vodcast. Camtasia offers the creation of podcasts and vodcasts through your computer or laptop microphone or webcam with video with the capabilities of editing, producing, and uploading. Distribution formats include the computer, live stream, TV, and mobile devices. You can distribute off your computer using the hard drive, USB flash drive, or a CD or DVD. You can distribute off live stream on the web using a flash file or a .swf file. The TV will require the use of an iPod, DVD player, a PC or an Apple TV, or some kind of similar device that will connect to your TV. And the mobile devices go as far as tablet computers, iPads, iPods, smartphones, etc. How do you know if your students are learning? Well, try to use an assessment tool. An assessment is the use of methods to understand the current knowledge a student possesses. This is used to aid in consistent grading and student understanding of evaluation requirements. It is essential to assess your students and offer proper feedback to ensure open lines of communication with students, offering room for improvement, and keeping students actively learning within your classroom. Assessments can be used to determine student grades, student placement, student advancement, differentiated student instructional needs, classroom curriculum, and your school standing. Figure 7 was also pulled from the textbook, and this is just a short list of online activities that help aid teachers in the assessment of students. And again, these are online. Let's see, I have used blogging before, or I have been assessed using the blog and WebQuest and Scavenger Hunt, and I find them pretty successful. But they are great tools to utilize. Here are some assessment terminology and tools that you will need to know as a teacher to guarantee that your students are developing properly and absorbing the information given to them and taught to them. I'm just going to go over these real fast and let you know that the book does go into further detail regarding each one of these. But you will need to know these for future reference. And also, you will want to know these if you are wanting to be a teacher and a successful teacher. But let's get started. Okay. A rubric is an explicit set of criteria that the student can use to self-evaluate his or her work prior to submission, and the teacher can use to provide feedback to the student. Feedback is huge in the book, and it's one of the last sections talked about in Chapter 6, so I would suggest reading that part especially. But rubrics can be used to help the student know what's expected of them for specific assignments. Rubrics can also be teacher-generated, student-generated, or a collaborative effort between teacher and student, or they can be provided by the school itself. But feedback should always include the successes and areas requiring attention. The alternative assessment uses non-traditional methods to determine whether students have mastered the appropriate content and skill level, such as state-mandated standardized testing. In 11th grade, I had an English standardized testing. That would be a great example if you went to Arkansas Public Schools. An online assessment, also called e-assessment, is an assessment of online teaching strategies, technology resources, online communications, e-learning activities, and online assignments in which Web 2.0 tools are used. Again, Web 2.0 tools were covered in Chapter 2, so if you have any questions about that, you might want to brush back up on Chapter 2. The formative assessment is based on a specific time span at multiple points by gathering various activities and assignments to guarantee the student is developing the knowledge, skills, and ability necessary to master the content. The one I have seen the most has been the summative assessment, and you, as a college student, most likely will or have already seen this used as a college strategy to assess students. But it is the process of evaluating the student learning at any time. It can be in form of a summative essay, English courses, or semester tests, as we like to call them in high school. But they work, they're efficient. And the self-assessments are critically reviewing the quality of one's own performance, whereas the peer assessment is the evaluation of the work of another individual or group. If you've been reading along in your chapter, you've already read a little bit about the Florida Virtual School, or the FLVS, but we're going to talk a little bit more about it here, because it's pretty important. The Florida Virtual School was the first virtual school in the U.S., and it was founded in 1997. It provides virtual schooling for 67 Florida school districts, which is all of the Florida school districts. It also provides virtual schooling to 49 states within the U.S. and 65 other countries. Their philosophy is to help students succeed by delivering a high-quality, technology-based education. They also offer multiple forms of communication, such as chat, discussion, and forums, email, voicemail, telephone conversations. They do video conferencing and instant messaging. And also, one of the fun facts about FLVS is teachers are required to have a telephone conversation with parents at least once a month to ensure focus on student needs and meet the learning needs of the students. I thought that was pretty good. But they also offer educational games. They have one for American history, and it's an interactive 3D game called the Conspiracy Code, and it seemed pretty interesting to me. And students actually learn while they do it. So it's a pretty nice program. Virtual reality is often referred to as multi-user virtual environments, also called MUVE. And at FLVS, they have a Second Life for Educators, which is a virtual world used for communication, social networking, presenting, sharing content, and collaborating, which is endorsed by the International Society for Technology and Education, or the ISTE. And the FLVS also creates the Me Studying apps, which are also app-based learning apps, or curriculum-based. And these are created by the teachers at FLVS. and administrators at FLVS. Well, I have enjoyed the project, and I wish you all good luck on your assignments, and I hope you have all found this very educational. Here are my resources, and again, good luck.